We're doing this. I'm losing daylight. Welcome into the scariest video I've ever done on my channel. If you want, I'm going to timestamp below when the poem starts because I like to say a few things first. First, I think you should watch the video before commenting because you might have an uneducated and wrong opinion. Second, you might still have an uneducated and wrong opinion, and if you comment something hateful or hurtful, I will have no tolerance for it in this comment section because this is a pride-related video. Hold on, I need to take a breath. And a teenager might see that comment and it might mean the world to them. So just go to the video that I did this makeup on. I'll link it. If you commented there, I would love to have a dialogue with you. I'll accept it there. I won't tolerate it here. So, a few things. First, this poem doesn't have a title. I've been calling it Big Fat Gay Poem. So I titled it the first line of the poem because I wanted to reach an audience that maybe I wouldn't reach without that kind of title. So that's why. Second, I mention and refer to my little brother a lot. It's in the title, as you can see. But this is not my little brother's condemnation. This is nothing to do with specifically my little brother. I say brother instead of sister for me because there's 5 children in my family, 4 girls and 1 little boy, and he's the youngest. So there's already a precedent with the girls, and the boy being the only boy and being the youngest might have a unique struggle. And whatever it is, I'm going to be okay with that. But let me just say, he's too young to probably even be questioning, and I have no right to tell him what he is. So I'm not assuming anything about him. Sister is in my family. It's already a-okay. And I'm not talking about my brother. I'm talking about your little siblings, your cousins, your next door neighbor's children, any child who can have a serious lifelong effect on how they view themselves because of how an adult treats them, or just a few words. You don't know how much someone's opinion means to you until you really know. This poem is a rage rant. It is the longest poem I've ever written and hardest to memorize for me because there were so many emotions. When it would jumble in my head and I would practice later on, I'd go from mad line to mad line to mad line, forgetting that there was a sad and a joke or whatever in between. It was so emotional for me. That's why it was hard to memorize this poem, but I've gotten there. So, a coming out story from me. It's not just my coming out story because I didn't have a family reunion and all my friends came by and a banner came down and it said I'm homo. Nothing like that happened. But one of these stories that I'd like to share that I didn't know how much it meant to me until later. I was at college the summer after my second year, so I was an adult already. You know, for someone not to know in my family is a little shocking. I'm sure people still don't know, but whatever. I was talking to my grandmother. I call her Bubba. And for the sake of the story, I call her husband Grumpy. And we were talking, and I was probably mad about being single. I don't exactly remember how we got to it, but I termed my thing that I say fake straights. I said that, and I was probably sounding gay, basically. And she interrupted me. We had never spoken about this before, by the way. And she said, I'll try and do her voice the best I can. Sophie, you're not gay, are you? I mean, you don't like women, right? And I was just like, Bubba, do you know me? Of course I do. What are you talking about? Have you met our family? Have you met any of your grandchildren? Anyway, and that was pretty much it. It was such a open conversation that we had, and by the end, she was saying, oh yeah, no one's a 1 on the Kinsey scale, because I was talking about the Kinsey scale. And she was just saying oh yeah, no one's totally straight. I think everyone's a little gay, blah, blah, blah. But, it was just the easiest, nicest. I didn't realize how much it meant to me coming out story until we hung up because I had it so easy and I had such acceptance and support from my family, and that's who I'm really proud of this month. But, a few years later I asked, does Grumpy know I'm not straight? And she said, oh, yeah, Grumpy knows. I think she said that my older sister told him, and I was like, Madison? But anyway, I wanted to have that conversation. But anyway, there are so many people that can't and wouldn't talk to the grandparents about that, and definitely not in the way that I did. Another story, years later, I was in the car with my other grandma, and we were listening to an NPR interview, some Christian title. I'm just going to say priest, but he might not have been. He was just a Christian title. He was saying that he, in his small town, everyone knew he was gay, had gone through conversion camps. None of them worked. They don't work, by the way. That's research. That's science. Don't even argue with me on that. And how he had a wife and he had kids and he had done right by the Lord, his whole life straying from the path of sin, and he was saying things in an encouraging way, like he wasn't trapped. And though the radio was going, there was such silence in the car between my Nana and I, that's my other grandma, because it was so sad. And for this man who was a boy, who was in a town whose parents and friends and later spouse never accepted him, he lived what he said was a perfect life with the bug of being gay on the side. And it was just so sad, because that's the life of some people. In some countries, you're killed for being gay. Anyway, I think we should just start this poem. Maybe I'll make more sense of myself and better collect myself. So let me just take a breath. Finish the video. Did you like it? Just kidding. I was in editing, and I just thought I'll edit out all the times I wipe my snot and have to take a deep breath, and no one will see me break down. It'll be fine. I was really panicked and emotional. I'm still pretty panicked right now. I'm calming myself down as we speak. But I realized in editing that I skipped 2 lines, and we can't have that. I knew I had to do it again, and I thought I would be more calm if I had some water and did this from bed. So, unprofessional, whatevs. If you care, I don't. So, let's get into it. I don't want my brother to know he's gay, because it won't be a silent revelation. Sure, I just want to know he's okay, but he won't finally decide whether he likes marinara or Alfredo with his lunch. He'll realize he has to choose to fight, to immerse in social awkwardness and the element of the unknown. He'll have to learn to be hated, to wonder if he's a natural, to dissect his brain, his genes, his heart, or to muffle his cries, to flush out his love in arguing for the wrong side, to choose a side and to study himself, to learn terms and more terms, to be respectful because there is no respect in the world. He will have to learn politics to fight politics, find and avoid families that breed ignorance, and constantly wonder what it would have been like if the world only knew what hatred it had created for him. I don't want to forget the cycle of discrimination he'll feel. And he'll search for answers that won't come. Become enlightened with a shattered understanding of the world, and I just want to know he's okay when his peers become illuminated too. But it's a strobe light, and frame by frame he'll grasp how reality distorts itself. Every time he looks back over his shoulder, the danger is closer. He'll be vulnerable to pimples and speaking in class and believe in his country. Or wait, just kidding. At the same time, he realizes he'll be torn apart for the way he was born. He'll just be a teenager. And I'll love him because he looks like my dad with my mom's hair and my sister's comedy and my heart. He'll just be learning the term derogatory for his vocab quiz when he realizes what he's known as a distinction that matters to society. His lifestyle will be assumed. He'll be sitting on the couch avoiding homework before he realizes his favorite shows make fun of him. He'll be doused in so much cold. Hell, he'll be numb. I wish I could stop time to save him now before he is branded, shamed, forced only to talk of the fight for humanity, against humanity, for those tragically left behind by society, and he will choose to better his vocabulary, to choose to fight. God, spare him the fight if he realizes he's not the domestic romance that was written for him. The greatest shield will be no homo. Shit, it will stab him, and children's shows will be discontinued for exposing poor innocent children to the buzzword homophobia, like they wouldn't understand. And perhaps my brother won't understand because his teachers never told him and his shows never showed him that it was perfectly okay to color with crayons instead of markers as long as your colors don't bleed out onto the page. Yes, I know it sounds lame and overprotective, but I just want to know my baby brother is okay. I don't want him to see what I see. Okay, I want him to, but I don't want him to take it personally because personally, I've seen the world's perception. I know this may just be my experience, but there are countless other faces disgraced for their preference, for their image not aligned with the person within, not in line with society's formation of boy or girl, blue or pink, pants or skirt. See, I don't want to make it about me, but I am a human, not a hybrid. I'm not some illogical fallacy, but yet the world will question me like I'm in an experiment. It can straighten out a science project or in a phase. Please save your test for your classroom. Don't stretch my limits because I'm no equation. I'm not elastic and I don't always snap back into place. And even though my coping skills have aged, I'm defaced for spreading some virus, some unfortunate genetic disfigurement. My brother will have higher expectations than I do now. I want to lock the doors to the dangerous world and tell him, don't have feelings of inadequacy. All you need is your family. I just want him to be okay. He'll be tall and picky about what he likes one day. And I'll remember how it didn't matter what sex he preferred when he was young, and everyone adored him. And to me, he'll always be that person, but to the world, he'll have the affection infection. I don't want him to be made up of apologies, of inequalities, full of evolving excuses because I wasn't okay. Wait, let me rephrase that. The real me was used to disapproval. Socioeconomic rejection can do that to a person. Told there was nothing to be ashamed of if you remove all signs on the outside and hide like I was a moth, scared of my own shadow, a pest, a bug on the wall. Like you could spread my wings wide, like you could see through me. You saw the veins right into my heart like a kaleidoscope with rainbow colors. Don't ask, don't tell me to cover my face in veils. It's a living hell. Like, it's sexy as long as you leave room for the nuclear family. Well, excuse me for not swimming downstream, but it's not hot to find out your best friend of 6 years is homophobic. Yes, I have polluted memories. Counting the tears, decorating my hate mail. Your misconception of my sexual orientation does not mean I am confused. Yet I took the abuse, the exile. You were raised this way? Well, I was born this way, so who here needs to change? I'll tell you, it's not my brother. If I could take away the complications, and the world took away the classifications, and the categorization of what religion deems appropriate, I'd meet my brother under equal footing. Like, you'd think graveyard dirt was soft ground, but it's cold and swollen with this profound idea that only a man and woman can lie together. Wait, let me start over. I want you to be happy. I know, that's what everyone says. Like it's a real goal that can be satisfied. But I want you to be proud of your life, with or without a wife. And to feel loved when you need love. Love someone loving you as much as I do. I want your moments to be as legendary as Zelda. And the relationships you build to mold your big heart. I don't want to tell you worse things will happen now, because we must have started broken with mismatched parts, because we didn't fit in with our open hearts. And dear brother, when the world starts to eat you away, I'll be here for you, to know you're okay.